I'm not too sure of everywhere I've been. This medicine keeps telling me I'm winning. Did I arrive too late? Did I make you wait? Now tell me where you've been and everything you've seen. Did I arrive too late? Did I make you wait? Now tell me where you've been and everything you've seen.
Hey folks, I'm on a bit of a road trip today, so happy to have you along for the ride. And I'm going to take you to a place that you've probably never heard of and probably never seen before, and try to, in maybe under 15 minutes, tell you the story about how I got stuck across the border into Cambodia. So that's right. Welcome to Cambodia, I guess I should say. This isn't a temple behind me, by the way. It's a casino. More about that later. It's a beautiful morning here. I've been here all night. I guess like any story, though, it's best to start at the beginning. You know, I left home yesterday morning. I wasn't planning on really doing a video today. A friend and I decided to go out for a ride in the countryside. He was driving, and we wanted to come to the province of Chantaburi. Chantaburi, not really high on the list of tourist destinations for people visiting Pattaya. A smaller rural province. It is probably, maybe, the rainiest, wettest place in Thailand, by far. To put a point on that, in Pattaya, our wettest month is usually September, and I think average rainfall is about 10 inches for the month. Well, they have two wettest months here. They're both the same, August and September, and they get close to 20 inches of rain for the month. So it's a miracle it's not raining right now. We left out of Pattaya. We stopped in Rayong at Liam Mae Pim. Lovely seafood lunch on the beach there, beachside seafood, great lunch. Very fresh. I had fresh prawns. Beautiful and not expensive. And we wound through the rest of Rayong and into Chantaburi. And we drove and drove until we couldn't drive any farther. And the reason we couldn't drive any farther is because it turns into Cambodia. We get into this town right by the border. It's a small town. And there's a nice little hotel, a brand new hotel there, just built. And it looked like a nice little town. There's markets. There's all kind of Thai and Cambodian goods for sale in these markets. And there's little places to eat and stuff. And we thought, hey, maybe we'll just spend the night here and go back tomorrow. So we check into this little hotel. Very reasonable. We explore the town a little bit and rest up and kind of weigh our options for the evening. And at some point we thought, well, across the border's nine casinos. That might be something to see. So we walked up to the border and thought, maybe we can cross here. It's not one of the borders listed for the e-visa, but you can cross there. And the guy explained it to us, and you have to get what's called a visa on arrival. You cannot do an e-visa here, like you can going into Phnom Penh, Siem Reap, even Poi Phet, one of the more common border crossing, land crossing borders. You have to do a visa on arrival here, and that's about $35 US. Well, I thought, okay, while we're here, it might be worth a visit. So the bad part about that is not using an e-visa for Cambodia. It takes a whole page of your passport. You got to fill out a form, but it was a quick process. And I think the other thing that might be notable is you may have to have, like what I just got, a multiple entry visa so you can come back. I'm not sure that you can come back if you don't have a visa already for Thailand. But I don't know about that. For sure, they might stamp you in for 30 days. I'm not sure. So we paid the money. It was an easy crossing. That's the difference here. It's a very small border crossing. There was just a couple people in line. It's very laid back. I'll show you. We get the visa. We head right across into the little border cross. It's tantamount to a creek. Just a creek you cross. And it's this little bridge, and then you're there. Once we finished our visa paperwork and we were ready to head into town, a van pulls up. And the van is going to a casino right here in the middle of this little town, of which there are supposed to be 9 casinos. I think a couple of them may be closed, but there's still a lot of casinos, suffice it to say. I've probably went in 5 or 6 of them here. He agreed to drop us off at the casino he worked at. There was a casino name printed right on his van. And that sounded good. That sounded like the order of the day. We had walked enough. And a couple minutes later, he drops us off in front of a palace. The sun's just setting. It's a beautiful evening. We walk around. There's so much to look at here. It's so vibrant. We were having a blast. We were having a blast. The sights, the sounds, the smells, it's all something new and different. One thing we weren't expecting that we would find out later, unlike the casinos here that all say they're open 24 hours, the border is not open 24 hours. So if you don't make it back across by 10 o'clock, like we didn't, then you're stuck here for the night. You're trapped here. I guess if you are stuck somewhere overnight, this isn't too bad of a place to be stuck. We ended up here. We're at the Palin, which is ironic because the first hotel that we were at that was supposed to be our night's accommodation was called Palin Place. This is the Palin Grand, or the Grand Palin. One thing that happened, I'll tell you, the name of the town is called Tsarprum. The best I can pronounce it, it's Phsarprum. I looked on Agoda, I said, well, I'll just find us something on Agoda here. There was nothing. The only thing that came up on Agoda for this location was the one I already booked. We'll go back tomorrow. I guess we will not be spending the night in the first hotel. So that went a little awry. They expect to pay $1,200 to $1,600, somewhere in that price range. We were quoted all kind of different, but we just kept going from one to the other and seeing what it was. I have 2 beds. I'll show you around the room a little bit. It's nice. A shower, full amenities, comb, toothbrush, everything, because I had a toothbrush in my bag. My friend did not, but he's taken care of there. He's got toothbrushes in there. So that's it. When this day started, I had no idea we'd be spending the night in Cambodia, especially at a casino. But that's how it is sometimes. So that's right, that's where I spent the night. So I guess that brings us up to this morning. Yeah, I don't even have a change of clothes with me because that's in the hotel that I showed you before. So some things on this trip went a little bit awry, but suffice it to say, I think we had a good time and I don't mind it. I always try to make the best of a bad situation, try to make lemonade out of lemons. I went down to the casino, tried my luck. One of the machines I hit for about 3,000 baht straight away. So that was nice. That was nice. That kind of offset some of the other things. I just decided, well, we're here for the night. I want to go out and have a cocktail, and I figured there'd be a bar, some kind of watering hole around town. And there is, kind of. Everywhere I went, I got the same story. I just like, in Thailand, I drink what's called a sang som soda. Sang som is Thai rum, soda water. And that's what I like to drink in the evening, a cocktail or two. And that's what I wanted. But everywhere I went, I got the same story. Oh, no, mate. We don't sell it by the glass. You're getting a bottle. You'll take a whole bottle and like it. I said, well, I don't really want a bottle. So everywhere you go here, the little watering holes they do have, you got to buy a bottle. I believe they have beer. Since I couldn't find a cocktail, I went back into the casino. I said, well, they should have some kind of drinks. And there's a snack bar in the back of the casino where we had a little dinner. And they had a refrigerator, had beer and Red Bull and water. And I said, I'll just buy a can of beer here. Nah, mate, we don't sell beer. I said, you got beer right there in the refrigerator. Nope, don't sell it. But up front, there's another case with beer, and I went in there,
and she handed me a beer. And I said, how much is it? She said, it's free. So I guess the idea is they give you the beer while you play the machines, which that's very typical of the casinos in the U.S. that I would visit. They give you complimentary drinks while you're playing. But I wasn't even playing, and she handed me a nice cold beer out of the refrigerator. Some beer I had never heard of, but it was okay. So many things here, and I said this the last time I came to Cambodia, so many things here remind me of Thailand 25, 30 years ago. The whole vibe and the services, Thailand services just have come so far. This morning I wanted a cup of coffee at the hotel, and I went down, they had coffee in the lobby, but it was going to be 20 minutes waiting for the hot water. Just things like that I don't experience in Thailand. I ventured out on the street for a cup of coffee and maybe a little breakfast. I met a lady from Isan who's here. She lost her money at the casino last night. So all these little quirks, I don't know, it's a great change of scenery. And I think this is the closest border crossing to Pattaya. Not by much, just very marginally. Aranya Pratet and Poi Pet, that's the big one that people use. But this one seems like it's almost the land that time forgot down here. There's no other foreigners in town that I saw. And it's got a laid-back vibe to it. The border, I showed you the border, it's just a little creek. I think it's a good trip. I think it's a good trip if you like casinos and things like that, or just to come here. And the hotels are nice. You got nice places to stay over here. Even on a Friday night, we were able to get a room. So we went into this place. I told you about that. We thought it was a temple, but it was a casino. But very grandiose inside. A lot of the places are nice, very nice. Modern. Some of them look a little bit older, and some of them look a little newer. But your mileage may vary depending on the place you go into. But that's how I got stuck in Cambodia overnight. And this morning, I think my buddy's just woken up, and we're gonna make the walk back across the bridge, and our drive home back to Pattaya. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully all that will be uneventful. But good trips. That's how things are when you travel. You got to kind of roll with it and make the best of the situation. And sometimes bad things happen for a good reason, and you get a whole different new experience and perspectives. New food to eat. I had the Cambodian katom this morning, a little bit different than the Thai katom. So anyway, I guess that's all it's going to be, I hope.
So there you go. In addition to the border closing at 10 p.m. and reopening at 6 a.m., I learned some other stuff, one of which I had learned previously and forgot, and that is there's some good shopping to be had over here. I'll show you an example. Here's a bottle, a big bottle like that. That's 400 baht here. I think it would be close to double that in Pattaya. And baht is what you spend here. There's no need to change money. Whether that be for a moto taxi or shopping at a store or even gambling in the casinos, it's all done with baht. So that was nice as well. Crossing the border for the next morning here on our way back home, it was rather uneventful. The only thing a little bit out of the ordinary is when you go across, before you even present your passport or anything, they want you to scan a QR code and fill in some information. That's so you can upload a copy of your vaccine certificate. And that's like step one. Then you proceed with the passport and the customs and all that. So back across the border and back into Pattaya, where there was always something else going on. And we'll look at that next time, because for this episode, gotta leave it off right here. And as usual, I'll thank you for watching. And until next time, bye for now.